If you're thinking about designing and building your own home in Spain, this could possibly be the most important video that you watch without spending a cent. My name's John Wolfendale. I'm the founder of Eco Vida Homes, and I spent 20 years successfully helping international clients design and build their villa in Spain. And I've also seen people make the same avoidable mistakes over and over again. In this video, I'm going to explain the 7 most common and expensive mistakes that international people make when designing and building a villa in Spain. I'm going to tell you also how to avoid them. Mistake number 1, buying the land before checking that you can build your vision on that land. 1, legally, compliant with all the planning regulations. 2, within your budget, with everything included in that budget. And 3, in a practical sense, looking at the access, the topography, the neighbors, checking that you really can build your vision on that plot before making a significant financial commitment. In fact, this is the biggest mistake that I see. People fall in love with the plot, they fall in love with the views, with the location. Then there appears some hidden defect, such as an easement, some planning restriction, protected trees, something that they didn't know about before they bought the plot that stops them building their vision. So this is the danger point for international folk who may be unfamiliar with Spain's cultural, legal and business environment. My advice: always get an independent evaluation of the plot before you buy it. A few €1,000s spent at that stage can save you tens, if not hundreds of thousands of euros in extra costs further down the road. Mistake number 2, falling in love with the vision before understanding the costs. Yes, please send us your vision board, send us your Pinterest board. We need those images in order to be able to guide you on costs. We can look at similar projects with you. We're experienced in the marketplace and we know what costs are. But do that before you fall in love with your vision. And let's do 2 things. 1, start with a budget. Now that budget might change once you're informed. In fact, that's a perfectly natural and normal way for the design to evolve. Once you understand what is possible, you may want to spend a little bit more. The important thing is that you are in control. Our job is to give you the information you need to make those decisions. And the second thing is, what we always do is, before you move beyond the concept stage, we check in on costs. So we're not wasting everyone's time spending money on a project that isn't viable at the concept stage. Mistake number 3 is choosing professionals based on price. You know, cheapest is rarely the best. In fact, cheap can often turn out to be very expensive. A good professional will save you money, save you time, and perhaps above all, will save you stress. Mistake number 4 is start the works without having a detailed bills of quantities and specification. I see this a lot in Spain, partly because it's actually normal in Spain to do it that way, or at least common. And sometimes there are very good reasons for postponing the decision, perhaps on the tiles, because you want them to be definitely available at the time that you want them, and you might be starting on site a year or even more before that time. But let me give you a reason not to rush things at the beginning. Perhaps I want to get started immediately because I'm wasting money on my rental, and if we start immediately we can finish sooner and then we'll deal with the problems as they go along. That, in my view, is potentially an expensive mistake, and I'll give you 2 very good reasons why. One is, you want everything pinned down at the beginning. You want certainty and you want a fixed price from your contractor. And the second reason is that you need coherent planning from start to finish. Once you start introducing new ideas or making changes, that's when things go wrong, and it introduces the possibility of miscommunications and mistakes. So number 4 is to Start on site only when you have a detailed project that is priced in every detail by your contractor. Mistake number 5 is to attempt to save money by having several contractors instead of one main contractor and perhaps several subcontractors. Now let's be clear, you can talk directly to the subcontractors, but everyone knows, they and the main contractor, that they will end up being a subcontractor, and there are 4 very good reasons for doing it this way. And the first very good reason is very clear responsibility. The responsibility lies with the main contractor. So if there's a breakage on site, if someone breaks a window worth 60,000 or something, it's very, very clear who's responsible. It's the main contractor. If necessary, their insurance company will pay. If you've got several contractors, it may be blurred. And the second very good reason is coordination and timing. You know, quite often different trades need to start and finish at the right time in order for there to be a smooth transition, and it's the main contractor's responsibility to make sure that happens. The third very good reason is shared costs. Scaffolding, insurance, waste removal, all of that is handled by one contractor. There's no squabbling or misunderstanding about who is paying for what in terms of those shared costs. And the fourth very good reason, and possibly the most important very good reason, is that the relationship that the contractor has with the subcontractor, that protects you. If you walk off the street into a swimming pool provider, for example, you're just one client, and if they're under pressure, who knows, perhaps they might be prepared to let you down, but they're not prepared to let down the main contractor, and that because the main contractor has influence. He can either send them more work or less work according to how they perform. So those relationships that the contractor has with the subcontractor protect you. Expensive mistake number 6 is to assume that you can build on rustic land. You know, I can introduce you personally to 5 or 6 people who between them have invested millions in rustic land in Andalusia, with dreams of perhaps glamorous retreats in tracts of beautiful countryside. And in fact, all they can do on that land is grow tomatoes. Now let me explain. The whole of Spain is divided into 2 very broad planning categories. There's terreno urbano, which is urban land, and there's terreno rustico, rustic land. And the default assumption is that on urban land, assuming you comply with the relatively straightforward planning regulations, you will get a building license. And the default assumption is that on rustic land, you cannot get a building license unless you can justify it. Actually, ironically, one of the justifications is if you're building a rural business, such as a country retreat. Nevertheless, I would urge huge caution if you're thinking about buying rustic land. Funnily enough, we have done it. Inland from the Costa Blanca, we have achieved a building license for our clients on rustic land. The circumstances are a little bit unusual. Get in touch with me if you're thinking about rustic land and we can talk it through. Expensive mistake number 7 is to use an architect that has a certain style. Now, I know there are celebrity architects who have a certain style and they've got their brand and they trade on that. But think about it this way. Would you rather have an architect that's focused on your needs, on your lifestyle, on your plot, on your budget, or do you want an architect who's actually trying to add a good-looking project to his portfolio? I know which one I'd prefer. Now, we can do traditional architecture, modern architecture, what we like to call timeless good taste. It's all subjective and it's all up to you. What we have to do is get inside your head, get you to tell us what we want, and we can design that. We don't have a style, we have your style. So let me finish by saying that designing and building your own home is, of course, a wonderful, fulfilling, rewarding experience. It can be fun too. So if you'd like to discuss your project with me to discuss the viability of it, you can get in touch. You can make an appointment using the link in the description below. In the meantime, please subscribe to the channel, like this video if you liked it, share it with your friends, send us a comment, and I will see you in the next video.